President Joe Biden posted a bizarre tweet saying "I am sick" shortly after testing positive for COVID, leaving America guessing as to the seriousness of his condition. 3 minutes later, he added, "Of Elon Musk and his rich buddies trying to buy this election." He then asked for money to help defeat Trump. The confusing posts came as Biden, 81, was forced to cancel a speech in Las Vegas while trying to fight back against widespread calls for him to drop out of the race. He took the COVID test when he started getting a runny nose and a cough. Later, he gingerly boarded Air Force One, using the shorter of the two sets of stairs, for a flight home to Delaware to begin isolation. Biden, who was not wearing a mask, gave a thumbs up from his limousine, the Beast, before boarding, and said, "I feel good." The White House physician said the president was feeling general malaise. The West Wing added that Biden is vaccinated and boosted, and took a dose of Paxlovid on Wednesday afternoon. Earlier on Wednesday, he had been speaking to supporters at a restaurant in Las Vegas as Democrat calls for him to step down from the 2024 presidential race snowballed. In an interview this week, Biden said he would only drop out if doctors told him to and there was a medical reason that made it necessary. "If I had some medical condition that emerged, if doctors came to me and said, 'You got this problem and that problem,'" Biden said in an interview with Bet News. The president's physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, has said Biden is mentally and physically fit to serve as commander-in-chief. But many Democrats have questioned Biden's fitness to serve since his debate performance against Donald Trump last month, in which he fumbled for words and at times stared blankly into the camera. Biden, meanwhile, has repeatedly changed his stance on what it would take for him to step aside. He told ABC News he would only drop out if the Lord Almighty told him to. At a press conference in Washington, D.C., he said he would stay in the race unless aides came to him with proof that he could never win. In an interview with Bet, Biden said for the first time that he had expected to move on from the presidency and pass it on to somebody else after one term. But he decided to run again because he believed his wisdom and experience would help heal the country. "You may remember, I said I was going to be a transitional candidate, and I thought I would be able to move on from this and pass it on to somebody else," Biden said. "But I didn't anticipate things getting so divided. And quite frankly, I think the only thing age brings is a little bit of wisdom." He added that there's more to do, and I am reluctant to walk away from that. Janet Murguia, the CEO of Latino civil rights organization Unidos US, announced Biden's positive test as she confirmed he would not be appearing at a scheduled event in Las Vegas. She said, "Thank you all so much for your patience and understanding. Regrettably, I was just on the phone with President Biden." And he shared his deep disappointment at not being able to join us this afternoon. "The president has been at many events, as we all know, and he just tested positive for COVID. So of course we understand that he needs to take the precautions that have been recommended, and he did not obviously want to put anybody at risk." It is the third time Biden has tested positive for COVID. The first time was on July 21, 2022, when he had mild symptoms. He tested positive again 9 days later in a rebound. Biden also sent the "I am sick" message to supporters in a fundraising email. He then added, "P.S. On a more serious note, I did just test positive for COVID today. But don't worry too much about me. I'm doing just fine, and I'm still as committed as ever to holding Donald Trump and his rich cronies accountable. Thanks for standing with me." In a statement, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said, "Earlier today, following his first event in Las Vegas, President Biden tested positive for COVID-19. He is vaccinated and boosted and he is experiencing mild symptoms. He will be returning to Delaware where he will self-isolate and will continue to carry out all of his duties fully during that time." She said he would continue to carry out the full duties of the office while in isolation. The president's doctor, in a statement, said Biden had presented with upper respiratory symptoms including a runny nose and cough with general malaise. The doctor said, he felt okay for his first event of the day but, given that he was not feeling better, point-of-care testing for COVID-19 was conducted, and the results were positive for the COVID-19 virus. Given this, the president will be self-isolating in accordance with CDC guidance for symptomatic individuals. His symptoms remain mild. He added that Biden's temperature was normal.